Here we are then, back for some more Aston Martin Road to Glory, and this one is round 5 at Miami in 2022. However, in real life, in 2023, Aston Martin is very much the talk of the town, so in many ways I'm quite glad we chose this series, as it's quite fitting in terms of what the objective is and also what is trending in real life after Bahrain. With that said, if you want to check out the previous episode, round 4, link in the top right guys, spoilers ahead, so go watch it, the first sprint at Imola. But yeah, here we are at Miami, looking to also keep working on the upgrades, improving the car, and as you can see, we're looking at purchasing a weight redistribution upgrade for the engine cover. After that, I went ahead and checked, and for this race, we did have a gearbox upgrade for the durability, but it has failed. And I'm not doing it for the actual gearbox, I'm doing it because it unlocks reliability for other parts like the turbo and the ICE. However, we had to repurchase it, so a small setback there. We then move into more upgrades for the chassis, as we've got a bit of R&D points left over, and we're ready for the race weekend. We kind of skipped ahead by a few more days, and we're now here ready to go at Miami. We've got a bit of time though before we jump into the event, and we had one more failure for the engine power, and that was meant to arrive this race, the fuel injection, and it's a major upgrade, so this was going to be a pretty big one. We're going to have to repurchase it, which is 446 points, and you can see the boost it's going to give us as it will move us into the top 3 in terms of outright performance. So we'll have that on the car hopefully for the next race. This weekend we were going for the balanced tyre allocation. You can see the 2 upgrades have failed, so the car's essentially the same as Imola. However, we have 4 upgrades on the way, and they're all going to arrive before the next race in Spain. So we're going to have a massive upgrade package for the very next race, and it's not going to move our position in the table in terms of performance, but it's going to give us a massive improvement in terms of overall car performance. The weather forecast this weekend is dry, no rain forecast, so we'll get straight into the action then and jump into practice, and we're going to get through the programs. Now, Miami for the most part is a very unique circuit in this game because it's new and it hasn't been properly developed in the game. The AI are very strong in Sector 1 and also Sector 3, but they're absolutely terrible in Sector 2. So there's such a mismatch that it's just laughable how inconsistent it is and how bad it is. But essentially, I'm like 7-8 tenths off between Sectors 1 and 3, but then I'm like 8 tenths up in Sector 2. So finding this up is really hard, and finding that balance makes no sense, because a setup that makes sense for me to run here is really I'd say inconsistent in terms of what the AI run around here. So it's going to make for an interesting dynamic, because we're going to be super slow for 2/3 of the lap and then super overpowered in 1/3 of the lap. Now if you do the math, that usually means we're going to be at a slight mismatch here because we're slower in 2/3 of the lap. Anyway, jumping into qualifying, fresh set of soft tyres on, and we're going to try and set a decent banker lap. Turn 1, 2, 3, not too bad to be fair. We now make our way into 4, 5, 6. This is all about just trying to find that flow, that momentum, that rhythm through these long sweepers as we close out Sector 1 with this long left, which tightens up into a slight hairpin. Important here to get the power down as you now head down the back straight. Lots of little kinks, but essentially almost a kilometre long straight, so you get a bit of a chance to take a breather, open the DRS and just chill out and basically prepare the brake zone. You're going to brake at the shadow under the bridge. That's usually the reference point, down to 4th, possibly 3rd gear, depending on your preference. We just run a bit wide at the apex, as we now keep it nice and tight through the long right-hander. And now into here, very important to clout the curbs, especially the first one, to really open up the second one and get the drive. We have a bit of oversteer and a bit of a scruffy, I'd say, slow section there, but still purple on the mini-map, and 2 personal best sectors as we make our way down the second of the DRS straights. We're going to prepare the brake zone here, brake bang on the 100, or as the curb begins on the right pretty much, down to 4th gear, possibly 3rd depending on your preference. 4th can lock the rears a little bit, so I use 3rd sometimes for a bit of stability. And then crucial to get the traction out of here as you run up to the line and open the DRS for the very short pit straight. So you go P4, ahead of Magnussen and Bottas, and behind Gasly and Tsunoda. Now, the first runs were finished, and you can see we're P13 right now. However, Hamilton has to improve, who is currently P19, but besides that, we're actually looking not too bad. You can see our middle sector is absolutely ridiculous compared to everyone else, but we lose a lot of time, like I said, in 1 and 3. Here we go then, 2 minutes to go, fresh set of tyres, and we have a genuinely good chance of making Q2 here based off early pace. So, down to turn 1, brake at the curb, down to 4th gear. Not too bad, could have taken a bit more inside curb at the apex. We get a really nice run though through 2 and 3, and we go up by a fraction as we now head into 4, 5, 6 and into the sweepers. Through here, just trying to lean on the curbs a little bit and get that rotation, and you can see here we get a really nice line and get a bit of time back on the delta. Into the long left, I go a bit tight, but we do get a good exit and we don't actually compromise ourselves too much, and we're up by about 6/100ths onto the back straight. At this point, it's looking pretty tidy. I know there's time to find in the slow chicane because it was a bit scruffy last time, so again, spot the braking here at the shadow, down to 4th. This time we brake a bit earlier and get the apex, and we also get a better line through here, so we'll find about 2/10ths in the process. Now into the slow section. Again, braking a little bit earlier, we have another big snap, but somehow we end up finding more time, and we go even quicker as we get a brilliant exit, and we're purple in sector 2 again, and you can see we're nearly 3/10ths up here, so this is looking very solid. Well, it isn't perfect, we could have definitely gone quicker. That chicane was still a bit scruffy. We're now going to prepare the braking zone. 100-meter board being the reference. I outbraked myself a little bit. I do just get the car slowed down, but as I mentioned before, I tried to go into the corner in 4th gear and I locked the rears, and that is going to be the end of qualifying for us. Unfortunately, others improved and shuffled us out of, making it through, and they moved us into the drop zone. We're out in P17, which is a real shame. The pace seemed pretty promising, to be honest with you, which is encouraging nonetheless, considering we didn't upgrade the car this race compared to Imola. And yeah, overall, I'm not too mad about it. We'll try to improve and try to do better. I think even if we had nailed the lap, it would have been close because the cutoff ended up being 3.5/10ths, which is quite a bit. I need to find, a bit more time than what I was on for. So I don't know if that lap that I was going to finish would have been enough, but maybe on an absolutely perfect lap, I could have maybe got through. Either way, it's not looking too bad. We beat our teammate, and that's the best we can hope for. But let's move into the race.
We are here in the coastal shores of Florida for the Miami Grand Prix, which has become the 11th Formula One track held in the United States. The grandstands are packed for what we hope is going to be another fantastic race. A lap of the Miami Grand Prix features 3.36 miles of track around Hard Rock Stadium, and 19 corners make up the Miami International Autodrome, which will challenge the drivers in a tight wheel-to-wheel race. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Russell, Leclerc, Sir Lewis Hamilton and Sainz, Norris, Fernando Alonso, Ocon and Daniel Ricciardo, Gasly, Tsunoda, Kevin Magnussen and Joe, Mick Schumacher, Martinez, Lance Stroll and Alex Albon. Latifi and Valtteri Bottas begins the race from the back of the grid. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. And here, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Shall we kick off our conversation with George Russell? That was a great win in the last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
It's always nice to come into a Grand Prix weekend on a high, but your expectations are based much more on your practice and qualifying runs. So it's the momentum from those sessions that they'll be hoping to carry into the race today.
Now then, here we are for the race at Miami, P16 on the grid, and we're looking to hopefully turn this one around. No rain forecast, although it's a bit overcast right now. Tyres, we're going to take a bit of a gamble. We're going to try and start on a hard tyre. This is something I haven't really done, but to kind of take a bit of a different approach this race, I want to see if I can make the hard tyre work and then move on to a medium later on. Fuel, I'm going for 0.2 extra. Hopefully we can make that work. Fuel consumption hasn't been an issue so far this season, so we can definitely run it a bit more aggressive. And then in regards to car setup, I've actually got some pretty high pressures going, so we'll see if we can make these work, especially on the hard tyre. But anyway, ramble aside, let's get into it and let's try and get this show on the road. Nice. Here we go. Let's get into it. Lights out and away we go. Not a bad start. Got 3 cars on my left side. Gonna have a timid lunge up the inside of 1. Crucially, we hold on to our starting position, and we're going to just get Magnussen there. I think we've also got another car as well. Either way, we're up to P14 as we defend the inside. Got very little grip right now. Zhou ahead, Gasly ahead on hards as well, so cars to definitely look out for. We may get re-overtaken by those on mediums, but if we can pass those other hard runners, that would be ideal. Albon sticking his nose up the inside of Magnussen. That does a massive favour for us, just to take the pressure off a little bit on this race start. But let's see if we can try and get with these hard tyre runners and close in. We're going to have lots of action ahead, so this isn't over yet. Get the car down to the apex as Gasly passes Ricciardo. So Gasly making moves on the hard compound tyre. I'd love to go for a little move here, but it's so tricky to pass through this little Mickey Mouse chicane section that it's just hard to get a move. We'll take this though, P14 up 2 places on the first lap. Not the best exit. Albon right there for company. I'm going to use the battery because the Williams is pretty decent in terms of straight line speed. Albon lurking. Trying to stick one around the outside of Zhou there, but wasn't quite able to get through. Over yet, Albon back for more. Having to use all the battery here just to try and stay ahead on the hard tyre. Oh my god, that was a bit of a misjudgment there. Kind of used the qualifying braking point and got it all wrong. Definitely not ideal. Magnussen back for more. Or keep him behind, although I'll say that. Whoa, that was a bit of an aggressive one. I had to get out of it just to avoid contact. Let's see if we can try and settle into a decent race pace. Obviously, we're not going to be left alone here. I've got essentially no battery left, so this is far from ideal. Also not looking particularly great in terms of straight line speed as Magnussen does edge ahead. I'll try and re-challenge. Up the inside and get that one back. We'll hopefully pull away through here. This is where I'm really strong.
DRS is being enabled this lap. You can use DRS when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Okay, Mag, I see you, mate. Bit of contact there as he tries to get by. I did defend quite aggressively and quite hard, but you know, I'm trying to be fair. I'm also, you know, I'm entitled to defend my position even on the hard tyre. This time we're not going to let him take that move. I'll close the door on him a bit more this time. Although we're going to be a bit of a sitting duck without DRS, I'll be honest with you. But we'll try and do the best we can without it. I think Magnussen's going to get us here though. Just don't have any pace at this early phase of the race. The hard tyre is proving to be quite difficult to switch on, although Magnussen doesn't have... Okay, now he's using DRS, but he wasn't using it at first. So that will just allow us to stay in front. Wow. Magnussen's flying on the straight. Into the hairpin, I'll try and hold on around the outside. But Magnussen's going to get the DRS. So it's not going to be easy. And Schumacher looking to get in on the fun as well. Back up the inside though. We're not giving this one up without a fight. Hopefully they battle between themselves and I can just open a gap. Well, Magnussen should absolutely destroy me this time. He's right there. Although he's not really committing to a move. Now he goes to the outside. And rinse and repeat. This sequence is just going to keep on happening. Okay, now the Haas boys are side by side, so this might give us a chance to break. Magnussen back for more this time. Looks like he's using a bit of energy. As he easily gets past this time. No answer there. We're going to have to accept defeat on that one as we have a bit of a moment on the braking there. I'm struggling with that all weekend, but luckily we avoid major contact. I'd like to try and stick with him, but he could easily drop me in the first sector alone, to be honest. Worst thing is I'm fast through here, but I have to just sit behind and drive at their pace. Wow, I've got no answers to this. I think I'd either have very low straight line speed or the Ferrari power unit is cooking, man, because we're getting absolutely wrecked on just pure acceleration. Also doesn't help that the hard tyre is just really struggling here. Here comes Stroll looking for the move. We'll force him outside. Oh god, I'm struggling, man. This tyre just isn't working. I can't brake late. Back end comes round. Got no battery left. Come on, Lance, pull me along, mate. Do me a favour, help me out. The pace really isn't there right now. I'm struggling to hold on to Stroll in the first sector. I don't get DRS on the first straight. I have to wait until this straight here to kind of close in. I don't think it's task specific either. I just think I've got no race pace. I mean, I know I've always known the AI are pretty good here race pace wise, which is a good thing. They should be strong. We're on 110. There should be a challenge. Discrepancy is often too much between qualifying and race in this game, so it's nice to see them be strong for once and, you know, be what they should be. So yeah, we're just having to work for it this race. Okay, Perez in the pit lane. First car to bite as we set a personal best. Let's see if we get a bit of action. I think we're going to come under some pressure here from Valtteri Bottas, who has passed Latifi. I don't know if he'll actually get ahead, as I've got DRS on Stroll everywhere now. I'm able to keep up. Looks like the medium just starting to wear off and drop off a bit. But Bottas will be a constant threat. One mistake and he'll be right there. Right, let's see what happens here then. Valtteri lurking. I'm trying to save battery, so I'm trying to not use. Let's see, he's closing. We'll force him to the outside, as I could defend that line quite easily. There we go. We can do that all day, every lap. Okay, Bottas pits, so that's going to take the pressure off. Checo's approaching, absolutely flying. I've moved the brake bars to 51 so that I can keep the car stable on the braking and not lose the back end. I do lose a little bit of rotation in some corners, but it means I can brake late and brake hard. Oh, Checo's absolutely flying. It's not going to take him long to get past.
Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them.
The tyres do feel okay now. Yellow flag. Right, show Guan Yu. Oh, he stacked it in the barrier, I think. Either way.
Clear.
Here comes Checo. No safety car or VSE. Zhou has got the car going again, so we actually gain a net position from that. Get Checo through, no surprises. We'll try and see if I can follow. I'm expecting Stroll to pit any lap now. And there goes Checo on Stroll. Red Bull has a lot of engine power and horsepower. No dirty air, no drag. Although he does mess up the final corner, he does blast past quite easily. And there goes Stroll pits, so that's going to release us now. Let's see if we can hang in some decent pace.
Lance is in for his stop.
Plenty of cars in the pits. We should be ahead of all of them though.
We're approaching the pit window and you're going to be on mediums.
Hamilton just ahead on hard tyres. But they'll be stone cold. We'll see what performance he has through here. Looks okay in fairness. So we'll take Hamilton's DRS instead and follow him. More cars in the pits, which will move us into the points. A safety car now, or a virtual safety car even, might be ideal just to really get us into the race. Here comes Alonso. I think he's going to blast past easily. I'll let him take the race in line. That way we don't lose too much time and we'll get DRS on the pit straight. Although I wouldn't rule out Norris actually getting the run on me here. The AI are just so much stronger than us where we have no pace around here.
Box, we're coming in this lap.
Oh, luckily Lando didn't go for the send there, so we'll just stay in front for now. But this ain't going to last very long. I think Lando hit the wall there. I was going to turn in, he was nowhere near alongside enough to go for any sort of move. As we get a warning and understeer wide through there. And we're never going to get the DRS, which is frustrating, so we'll let Lando and Ocon crack on here. We'll let them battle. This isn't our fight, this isn't our race. Oh, yeah, yeah. Ocon, mate. Whew.
You should be feeling the effects of some tyre wear soon, so stay on your toes.
It's okay, as long as I ain't wing damage, I'm okay. Pierre Gasly in the pit lane. He started on the hard tyre, of course. So we move ahead of him for now. These two are still going at it, so we're getting some DRS here, which is nice. I think I've given Lando wing damage from that contact. We can't keep up with Ocon, and I'm actually really pulling him in through the corners. So I think Lando's got damage, but he's going to try and stay out. Lando pits because of that, so clearly he couldn't stand the damage and had to call it quits. Snow in the pit lane as well. I'm going to probably pit this lap. I'm trying to extend a little bit to see if we get a safety car or virtual, but it doesn't seem to be happening. Here we go then. We're going to box and get the one and only stop out of the way. We stayed out a bit longer for a couple of extra laps, but I still want to try and beat Stroll on the track, so I don't want to throw the race away entirely. Perez in for the 2-stop. And there we go, beautiful entry. Onto the medium tyre, we'll have a pretty fresh tyre to the end. We could go soft, but I'd rather not risk overheating, so we'll just go for a medium, go flat out to the end. Lovely stop, 2.2, that is world class right there from the boys. Fantastic stop. So Stroll goes through.
That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. Let's go.
We'll be ahead of Latifi, but it'll be close-ish, as we'll be on a cold tyre. Trying to get them fired up. Let's try and hope that Latifi doesn't get into my DRS. It's going to be close, you know. I think we'll just about get away with it. I think we'll keep Latifi out of DRS range. So, the chase is on. Can we get Albon and Stroll? I think that's ideally what I'd love to do this race. And get them both. Albon being our rival and Stroll being our teammate. Let's get after it and let's see if we can try and have a strong end to the race. We've got Lando Norris for company. He's driving absolutely flat out here and flying. He'd be a decent car to follow in fairness, so I don't mind if he does go through. Just hope he doesn't make any mistakes and just makes a clean pass and cracks on with it. And we'll try and follow him for as long as we can. He might just help us, you know, get dragged up to the faster cars as Tsunoda pits. Also, he might also cost the cars ahead some time battling whilst trying to cut through. So, whoa, my front wing, I somehow still have managed to keep that on the car. Whoa, this is what I don't want. If you're going to pass me, Lando, just drive, don't waste my time. Lando not close enough to repass, although he'll definitely get me to turn 1, I'm pretty sure. Yep, he's got a decent exit. Here he comes. Oh, he just got out of shape there, opening the DRS. But he's going to go for the lunge anyway. Come on, Lando. This is really not ideal. Just go. The AR's racecraft is terrible sometimes. Because he's not going to leave me alone, so I just have to let him go. But we've gained nothing on Stroll because of this. Interestingly, Pierre Gasly is into the pit lane, so he started on the hard tyre, but I think he's 2-stopping for whatever reason. So we'll gain a place. Let's try and keep up with Lando here. We'll use the battery to stay within DRS range on this first back straight. Now the pace is working. Now we're cooking. Using the battery to keep up. Bottas pits as we set a personal best. So we are seeing some 2-stoppers, which is quite surprising. But now we're starting to close on Lance and Albon. Right, Lando's going to probably get Stroll here. Let's see. Stroll defends hard, but fair. We'll try and see if we can stick with Lando throughout this process. So let's see. He goes around the outside. And Stroll doesn't have an answer. Let's see how long it takes for us to pass Lance. Decent first sector. Got a little bit of battery saved up. Stroll will not have DRS on Norris, so we're going to drain everything we've got to get past our teammate straight away. As this part of the track, as you guys know, is the strongest bit for us. Around the outside we go. And that's an easy move. Can I get DRS on Lando as well? That would be ideal. Pushing hard to try and close in. I think I may have just done it. We go purple in sector 2. And we do get the DRS. That was critical. Here we go, Lando to the outside. Albon defends. As we lose Latifi from the race, as he retires. It's important that we try and finish out of Albon now. He's our rival. So I want to try and get the measure of him, if possible. Lovely there. Just got so much more pace through this section. Albon may actually re-challenge Norris here, I think. The Williams is very slippery in terms of straight line speed. It would not surprise me. It looks like Norris will hold on. Oh yeah, we're going to go full power mode now, so it's going to be hard as Norris runs it in deep. This isn't over yet. We're going to get a bit of last lap action here. Oh my god, that is so hard as a traction zone. Let's see, we may have a chance to go 2 for 1 here if we can get this timed right. Whoa, completely followed them in there by accident. Albon though, holds on. Just trying to keep my front wing in one piece. I'm trying to be careful. Approaching a yellow flag zone.
Caution, caution. Someone's come off ahead of you. There's a yellow flag ahead.
Not Lance, I was going to say Lance Stroll. Alex Albon providing the later race entertainment. Well, I've got no battery. I'm going to try and save what I've got for the back straight. So we'll let these two crack on here. It's going to be hard, but if I can get them both, I'll take a P12 right now. No points for it, but it would just be a great result. Albon, Norris side by side. Yet again, we're going to stick our nose in. Have a little look. I'm going to slip through. I'm going to go for it. Oh, that was opportunistic. Can we get Norris now? Oh, the traction just isn't there. Nah, forget it. The traction just isn't there. Still, we got Albon. That's what matters. Passing a very unorthodox place. I'll take a lock up from Lando now. Nope. Lando makes the corner. There we go then. So P13. Still, we beat Albon. We beat our teammate. I'll take it. Happy days. Decent race in the end.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
They've done it then. A truly magnificent win here at the Miami International Autodrome. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
Well, time management probably played quite a large role in the outcome of this one. As ever, it's not just about speed, it's all about maintaining that speed consistently over a stint, over a race distance. So being able to keep up the lap times while still being smooth on the controls and gentle on the tyres, that's really where the race was won today.
Well, there we have it then, guys. Race done at Miami. Verstappen dominates ahead of Leclerc and Russell. Hamilton missing out on the podium along with Sainz. And then Alonso best of the rest in P6 ahead of Ocon and also Sergio Perez. Ricciardo Schumacher ran out the points, and then Magnussen misses out along with Norris. And also we finish in P13, a minute off the leader. And also, yeah, possibly a chance to get P12 of that race, but we just didn't quite have the pace. Overall, though, a decent day at the office and one of our better race finishes this season. In the end, Albon finished P15, Stroll P16, so we'll take that, beating our nearby rivals. And yeah, Latifi the only retirement from that race. Still, in terms of the standings, not a lot of change. Russell is your surprise championship leader, which is definitely a bit of a surprise I didn't actually expect or see coming at this stage. But anyway, that aside, if we scroll down, we are still on 0 points ahead of Stroll and Albon, but that's about as far as it goes in terms of positives, and we're also just ahead of Williams. Guys, we'll leave it there. Leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we tried it. We gave it a shot. We got aggressive, had some good battles, but it wasn't to be. And yeah, as always, a big shout out to the members for supporting the channel. Check out the 2 videos on screen if you haven't seen them already, and I'll see all of you in the next one. Until then, guys, take care, and it's goodbye from me.